The diplomatic shuttle descended through Earth's atmosphere with barely contained fury. Inside, Zixara and Velmoth sat in rigid silence, their crystalline skin shifting through shades of crimson, the color of vengeance among their people. The Krivan. 23 cycles, Zixara whispered, her voice trembling. 23 cycles since the humans destroyed our colony ship. Velmoth placed a hand on her bonded sister's shoulder. And today we deliver the tribunal's judgment. 2 human lives for the 200 we lost. Their mission was surgical. Eliminate 2 specific humans whose governments had authorized the weapon that vaporized the Krivan colony vessel. The tribunal had been explicit. Proportional retribution, nothing more. No war, no genocide, just justice. The shuttle touched down in a forest clearing outside Seattle. Their intelligence indicated that Dr. Sarah Chen, one of their targets, lived alone in a cabin nearby. Former military scientist now living in self-imposed exile. The other target, Marcus Webb, resided in the city. They would start with Chen. The cabin was smaller than expected, surrounded by gardens that burst with color even in autumn. Zixara felt her skin flicker uncertainly. Gardens were sacred to the Krivan, symbols of life cultivation. Stay focused, Velmoth urged, though her own coloration wavered. They approached the door, which stood slightly ajar. Inside they heard humming, a human making music while working. The intelligence files had mentioned nothing about Chen's hobbies. Zixara pushed the door open. The human woman looked up from her work. She was painting, her hands covered in vibrant pigments. But it wasn't the paint that made both Krivan freeze. It was what she was painting. A Krivan colony ship, rendered in exquisite detail, and surrounding it in careful script the names, all 200 names of their dead. "I've been waiting for you," Sarah Chen said quietly, setting down her brush. "Took you longer than I calculated. You know why we're here?" Velmoth's hand moved to her weapon. "Of course." Sarah stood slowly, her eyes red-rimmed, a sign of human distress. "I've been waiting 5 years. I signed the authorization form. I pressed the button. I killed your people. It was a colony ship." Zixara's voice cracked. "Civilians. Children." "It was," Sarah's voice broke. "And I was told it was a warship. By the time I realized the truth, by the time I saw the actual scan data, it was too late. The missile was already away." She gestured to the walls. They were covered with paintings, Krivan ships, Krivan landscapes from their homeworld, scenes of their culture meticulously researched and rendered. And names, so many names. "I learned everything I could about your people afterward," Sarah continued. "Your language, your customs, your lost ones. I resigned that day. I've spent every moment since trying to, I don't know, understand what I destroyed." Zixara felt her weapon grow heavy in her hand. "You think art absolves you?" "No." Sarah's honesty was brutal. "Nothing absolves me. I'm a mass murderer who believed a lie because it was easier than questioning my orders. I've written confessions to every human authority. They've all been classified, buried. My own government protects me while I drown in what I've done." She stepped forward, and both Krivan tensed. But Sarah simply knelt, bowing her head in the Krivan gesture of absolute submission. Something she could only have learned through deep study of their culture. "I offer no resistance. I have no right to live. I only ask," her voice wavered. "Tell their families I'm sorry. Tell them I saw them. Every face. Every name. Tell them a human wept for them." Velmoth's weapon clattered to the floor. Her skin shifted to deep blue, the color of profound grief among her people. "You mourn them. Every day." Sarah's tears fell freely now. "I see their faces when I sleep. Children I killed because I was a good soldier who followed orders." Zixara found herself sitting heavily on the floor, her own weapon forgotten. This wasn't what they'd expected. They'd prepared for a target who denied responsibility, who justified, who fought back. Not this. "The tribunal sent us for retribution," she said weakly. "Then take it." Sarah remained kneeling. "Please, I'm so tired." The 3 sat in silence as morning light streamed through windows, illuminating paintings of the dead. They didn't kill Sarah Chen that day. Instead, something unprecedented happened. They talked. For hours that became days, Sarah shared everything. The lies she'd been told, the cover-ups, the weapon systems designed to fail safely, but programmed to fire fatally. And the names, She knew all 200 names. Velmoth contacted the tribunal with a request that shocked the council. Asylum for Sarah Chen, not as a prisoner, but as a witness. And something more. A cultural liaison who understood both human capacity for terrible mistakes and genuine soul-deep remorse. But our justice, the tribunal demanded. Justice, Zixara replied, watching Sarah tend the garden she'd planted in honor of the Krivan children, might not always mean death. Perhaps it means ensuring this never happens again. She can teach both our peoples what happens when we stop seeing each other as living beings. Marcus Webb, they discovered, had also been deceived. A politician who'd approved the strike based on falsified intelligence and who'd spent years trying to expose the truth. Together, the four of them became something unexpected. A bridge between worlds, built on grief, truth, and the radical notion that understanding might be more powerful than vengeance. Zixara's skin eventually learned a new color, a soft purple that had no name in Krivan, but which Sarah called hope. Velmoth, too, found something she hadn't expected, purpose beyond retribution. The humans had a saying Sarah taught them. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. The Krivan had no equivalent phrase, but watching Sarah weep over painted memories of people she'd never met, teaching human children about Krivan culture, fighting tirelessly to prevent another tragedy, they understood. Sometimes the most profound retribution wasn't death. Sometimes it was giving someone the chance to spend their life making meaning from tragedy, turning grief into a foundation for peace. And sometimes, two alien girls arrived seeking vengeance, but found something humanity was uniquely positioned to teach. That love, forgiveness, and dedication to change could be more powerful than any weapon, even, or especially when that love had to be earned through a lifetime of service to the dead.